I swear I felt my heart crack that night. Quietly, like a branch snapping under the weight of snow. It started with a laugh. Not just any laugh, her laugh. The one I used to fall asleep to when we were still in love. But that night, it wasn't for me. It came from across the table where my wife, Sophia, leaned in close to another man, her hand brushing his arm like it belonged there. We were at her company's annual dinner in Charlotte. I tagged along because she'd asked, though in hindsight, maybe she hadn't really wanted me there. Her boss, some hotshot named Ryan, had thrown a private celebration for closing a big deal, the kind where expensive wine flowed. And everyone tried too hard to impress everyone else. Sophia thrived in that world. Me, I was the odd one out. I fix evac systems for a living. I don't network. I just fix things that are broken. But that night, the one thing I couldn't fix was my marriage. Relax, Alexander, Sophia whispered, flashing me that tight, polished smile she reserved for public appearances. You look like you'd rather be anywhere else. I probably would, I muttered. You've been talking to that guy for 30 minutes. You barely looked at me. She rolled her eyes. God, not this again. He's my coworker. Can't I talk to people without you turning into the jealous husband cliché? I'm not jealous, I said. She cut me off, still smiling for the room. Then stop glaring like you're about to throw a punch. I looked at her. Her lipstick was perfect, her dress elegant, her perfume intoxicating. I used to love seeing her like this. But that night, all I saw was someone who'd outgrown me, someone who looked happier in another man's presence than in her husband's arms. I took a deep breath, trying to calm down. But then I saw Ryan whisper something into her ear, and she laughed again, leaning closer. My hands clenched around my glass so hard I almost cracked it. That's when she turned to me, her eyes cold despite her smile. If you're that jealous, Alexander, she said softly, but with venom just beneath the surface, then go home. Her words sliced right through me. Go home if you're jealous, she repeated, almost daring me. So I did. I stood up without a word, grabbed my coat, and left. The drive home was silent, just me, the hum of the tires, and the echo of her voice in my head. Go home if you're jealous. It sounded like permission. No, like dismissal. When we first got married, Sophia used to cling to my arm at parties, proud to introduce me. This is my husband, Alexander. He can fix anything, she'd say with a smile that made me feel like a hero. But somewhere along the way, after her promotion, after her fancy new friends, she stopped introducing me with pride. Now I was just Alexander, the guy who didn't belong in her polished world. I parked outside our house, and sat there for a long time, staring at the empty passenger seat. My phone buzzed a few times, texts from coworkers, maybe a friend, but not from her. She didn't even check if I made it home. I didn't sleep much that night. I tried to, but every time I closed my eyes, I saw that smirk on her face. The way she looked at Ryan, the hand she rested just a little too long on his arm. By 2 a.m. something inside me broke. I wasn't just jealous anymore. I was done being treated like a nuisance in my own marriage. So, I made a decision, not out of anger, but out of clarity. If Sophia wanted space so badly, I'd give her all the space she needed. When she stumbled in at 3:47 a.m., I pretended to be asleep. I heard her heels click across the floor, then stop. There was a faint scent of whiskey and men's cologne, not the kind I wore. She hesitated, maybe glancing toward me. Then I heard her whisper something under her breath before tiptoeing into the bathroom. The shower turned on. That's when I noticed the smear of lipstick on her collar. It wasn't the shade she wore to the dinner. It was darker. Something twisted in my gut. I wanted to confront her right then, demand answers, yell, "Why are you doing this to us?" But instead, I waited. Morning would reveal everything. When dawn broke, I got up quietly, brewed coffee, and started packing. Not much, just the essentials, my clothes, tools, and a few keepsakes. Then, I left my wedding ring on the counter beside her favorite mug. By the time she woke up, I was gone. At 8:32 a.m., my phone started ringing. It was her. I ignored it. Then came the texts, "Where are you? Alexander, we need to talk. Why would you just leave like that? This isn't funny." By noon, she was calling non-stop. When I finally picked up, her voice was shaking. Alexander, where the hell are you? At peace, I said quietly. What does that mean? It means you told me to go home if I was jealous. I did. And now I'm staying gone. Alexander, stop being dramatic. You embarrassed me last night, walking out like that. People asked where you went. Maybe you should have told them I went home, like you told me to. She went silent for a few seconds, then her voice softened. You're overreacting. I didn't do anything wrong. I laughed bitterly. You didn't do anything, Sophia. You came home at nearly 4 in the morning, smelling like someone else's cologne. You think I'm blind. That's not what it looks like, she said quickly. Ryan was drunk. He spilled his drink on me. That's all. I took a shower when I got home, didn't I? Her words came too fast, too rehearsed. Right, I said. Just like how you forgot to call when you got there, or how you didn't notice me leaving. You're twisting everything, she snapped. God, you always make me feel like the villain when I'm just trying to live my life. Then go live it, I said quietly. Just don't expect me to stick around while you pretend our marriage isn't falling apart. She was silent. Then softly, she asked, where are you going to go? Does it matter? I replied. You didn't care where I was last night. And then I hung up. That day, I drove to my brother's cabin 2 hours away in the Blue Ridge Mountains. No signal, no noise, just quiet. The kind of quiet that forces you to feel everything you've been running from. I spent that first night sitting on the porch, watching the stars, and wondering when love had turned into suspicion, when laughter had turned into lies. The truth hit me hard. I'd been fighting for a version of her that didn't exist anymore. The next morning, my phone buzzed again, this time with a voicemail. Her voice was softer now, broken. Alexander, please call me. I didn't mean what I said. I was drunk and stupid. I shouldn't have told you to go home. She paused, and I could hear her start to cry. I don't even know why I flirted with him. It didn't mean anything. But when you left, it felt like I lost everything. Please come back. We can fix this. For a second, my heart almost gave in. But then I remembered the look in her eyes when she told me to go home, the utter indifference. It wasn't one bad night. It was years of small, deliberate choices that chipped away at us. So I texted her one last time. You told me to go home if I was jealous. I finally did. Turns out home isn't where you are anymore. Weeks passed. She tried calling a few more times, then stopped. I heard from mutual friends that she quit her job shortly after the incident. Apparently, word got around that she crossed the line with her boss. Karma, I guess. As for me, I started over, rented a small place in Asheville, went back to work, rebuilt my life one day at a time. I won't lie, it still hurts. I still think about her laugh sometimes, and how it used to belong to me. But the pain doesn't own me anymore. Because the night she told me to go home, she thought she was pushing me away out of spite. She didn't realize she was freeing me from a version of love that had already died. And that, more than anything, was priceless.